I live in a suburban area, and in my back garden I have over 20 fruit trees growing. So today you're coming along with me. I'm going to take you around and show you every single fruit tree that we're growing in a small homestead, and that it is possible for you to start growing fruit trees in the smallest of space. So I've always dreamt of having a beautiful oasis where I can actually have fruit trees, and my goal was to actually grow them in the ground. But in the first year of having done that, I had gone and lost a few fruit trees like my tamarillo, which I was really upset about. That's why this season we got two, and they're doing amazing. There is some fruit trees that we do have in the ground, but they're a little bit higher than the other fruit trees that we had on that area there down there. So it is very possible to grow an abundance of fruit trees. And I think the very first place that we are going to start is by the berry alley. And I'll show you all the fruit berries that we are growing right now. So on the side we've got the berry alley, and I'm thinking next year we change it a bit. So we are doing a few different layouts and construction on the homestead, and this might change. So we've got all the blueberries in the section, as well as our English gooseberry. We have 4 legendary blueberries in 1, 2, 3, 4 pots, the terracotta color ones, and then we got 1, 2, 3 different varieties, early, mid and late harvest blueberries on that side. We've also got a what is that called? We also got the Pepino melon that is doing absolutely well. You can see some melons on the tree, very first year of doing that. And these are all grown in little pots, so I'll take you along to that section now. But over here we've got our young berry. And young berries and berries, they do like some sun. But on this side it's very shaded, and I think that's why they're not performing 100%. They are giving us berries, they're doing very well, but I think that they just need a better location, and so that is what I'm thinking. And you can see I've got a trellis at the back there, and that is where they trellis. This is the young berry, and this year I've been fighting birds, so that's the only thing we've got a problem with, is the birds. They have eaten every single berry, the blueberries, the young berries, the raspberries, so we've not really had to taste our berries. You can see it's flowering again, giving us more berries, and the birds will probably end up taking that too, until find a way to put the netting over here. But you can see we've just got some new chickies, and we've had to put something here, so it's a little bit in the way here. But I just want to show you what you can grow in a small garden. So if you say you don't have space, you just dedicate a wall, and you just put them all along the wall, because you're not going to be really using the wall. And this is one way you can utilize growing things against the wall. So this is the Pepino melon, and you can see they're still very young and small. So that is Dolly, and she's raising the 2 eggs that hatched. So we're hoping they're females, because we've lost 3 females last year. So we're trying to make up, and she's not happy being in there. So just excuse the noise. So this is a Pepino, and it's between, they say, let's just make sure, they say cucumber and melon. So it's the taste of a melon and the crunchiness of a cucumber, and that really drew my attention. Not only that is that it goes yellow with these beautiful stripes. That's when you know that they are ready. You can see they're very small still, and this tree or plant is thriving. We've got so many pepinos growing on here, and it's still flowering. There's some more pepinos here, and this is growing in a pot. That's all I've got here is a pot with this melon growing, and it's producing beautiful fruits on it. And the same as all the blueberries, they're all in pots. They're doing amazing. Now on this side, in a huge pot, we've got our first peach tree. This peach tree is in a huge pot, and it was supposed to give us peaches, but as I said, the birds came along, and besides the berries, they've taken all the little fruits from all our clingstones. So that is our peach, nectarine, and our plum. And we've only got 3 clingstones. So this was full of flowers, and the birds came and ate every single fruit. So we got no peaches this year. But this is a peach tree that we grow in a pot, and 90% of our fruit trees that we grow is grafted rootstocks, or rootstocks that are grafted on a rootstock. We got some beautiful blueberries here, and it is just going to keep on producing blueberries. And I need to put a bag over this because I actually want to get some blueberries off of my plants instead of the birds grabbing them all. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today, is put some bags over these blueberries. Over here we've got the English gooseberry, and it's the first time we grew this, but I'll have to be honest with you, it's not my favorite. It is definitely used for jams and that, not just to pick and eat. So we only got 1 plant, and it can stay at the homestead. I don't mind that. But blueberries and raspberries are definitely something that I want in my garden. So this is the Caracara orange tree, and it's a dwarf variety. You can grow them in pots. You can see I've got them in massive pots, and I can control the soil in these pots. But these are beautiful oranges. They have this very dark orange skin, and then when you cut it open, it has this blood orange in the middle. It's more sweet than sour. So that is why I want to get another variety of orange where it's an actual orange, but a very sweet orange. This is one of my favorites. When I tried it overseas, I was absolutely amazed. And we've got a few oranges on here. We had a massive hailstorm, which basically damaged some of my crop, well, most of my crops. You can see all the damage on this orange from the hailstone. It has gone and damaged loads of our leaves, and there were nice new leaves growing. So we had a hailstorm before this massive one, so it was busy recovering. Now it has to recover again, but it is doing okay, and we've got some oranges. All I have to do is feed it some more fertilizer, and it should start sizing up, and hopefully by winter it's ready to harvest. And then in a pot as well, we've got the alpine nectarine, and that's also something that we have always had in a pot, and it has always given us beautiful nectarines, nice small juicy nectarines, maybe the size of a golf ball, but very, very juicy. And you can see it's still recovering from the hailstorm. The hailstorm really took some massive branches and damaged a lot of our crops. But this is one of the other clingstones that the birds took all my fruits off and left me with 6 only. So we get between 20 to 30 little nectarines on this plant, but this year was very, very sad. So next year I definitely have to make a plan on how to protect all our fruit trees on the homestead. So we've got the plum, And I think this plum is called the Santana plum or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Last year I got to try them out. They are beautiful, very dark purple plums with like an orangey yellow inside. Absolutely delicious. One of the most delicious plums I've tasted. And it's another clingstone and another tree that the birds took all my fruits off. Didn't get one harvest out of this tree. But you can see the damage that the hailstorm has caused on here. But it's not going to give us any flowers or fruit. The season's over. So what's going to happen is that all these leaves will fall off and this tree will go dormant for winter, and then when it comes back we'll get new leaves. But yeah, that is all the clingstones at the homestead. So that was all the clingstones at the homestead. It was our peach, plum and nectarine, and all three trees got invaded by birds this season. We've never had a problem with birds. This season we've got a problem with birds and the rain and also snails. Last year we had such success with our figs. It absolutely blew my mind how well they did. And the hailstorm came through and literally ripped the fig tree to bits. All the figs have started to split and open, and they're actually starting to harden. So I don't know, I'm going to leave them on, but the ones that have split, I think I'm going to just take them off. But I'm going to swing the camera around and show you how our fig trees are looking compared to last year. They were lush, full. Even in the beginning of the season, it was absolutely beautiful in the beginning of January. So nature is horrible sometimes, but there's nothing you can do about it. So you can see this one has gone a bit soft, but it's very small. Our figs normally grow really, really big. And if you guys had watched my video from last year, you'll see the harvest was absolutely a blessing. And right now, this is what we're dealing with. The tree obviously is going through shock and recovering, and the fruits are just dying off. It looks absolutely like a horror movie, actually. It is something that I'm really sad about, that you are able to grow fig trees. You can also have these fig trees in pots. They grow wonderfully in pots. They actually love pots. So it doesn't matter if you grow them in pots or in the ground, your results will be absolutely amazing. But in a small garden, if you haven't got space to put them in the ground, rather put them in pots, they will thrive. Imagine just walking out into your back garden and going to a fruit tree and picking a fruit off. It is absolutely possible. So we're here at the side of the homestead. You can see that is my homestead. Not big, but big enough to grow the fruits and veggies that I love to grow. I grow intentionally, meaning that I grow crops that I will eat from and that it doesn't go to waste. So go check out these videos. I talk about intentional growing and also all our raised beds as well as fruit trees. But today it's just an update on the fruit trees because of the season going crazy. It has been a really sad season for me, but I still have my fruit trees, and if I make a plan for next season to protect them, they will absolutely perform. I'm just going to flip the camera around again and let's take a look at all the fruit trees that we grow in pots. So before we actually start on the pots, let me show you the other two fruit trees that we actually got in the ground, and it is our two pomegranate trees. And I've just noticed something that I'm very highly upset about. So if I move it up, look at that little dude. He's literally eating through the pomegranate. and he's going to lay eggs in that there. So I need to make a plan. That pomegranate seems to be over. I'm going to actually remove him and put a bag over all the pomegranates, because that was probably a very soft spot where the hailstorm hit. We actually went and harvested the sour variety of pomegranate off because it had little dents where the hailstones had hit, and I knew that that was a target for insects to do exactly what he's doing. They eat through that soft spot and then they go and lay all the eggs inside. So that I'm going to have to make a plan with. But we've got the 2 pomegranates in the ground and they performed very well. This is a sour variety. I'm not sure what the name is. And you can see I keep it short and compact. So I need to also walk through my walkway here. So I've had to cut the branches there. If I knew that I was going to do this homestead before I planted that, this would not be in the ground over here. And unfortunately, I'm stuck with a tree in the middle of my homestead. We might be removing this, not 100% sure, but you can see that it is in an awkward position. And we planted these 2 pomegranate trees before we even considered doing the homestead on this side. The homestead was actually by the back of the kitchen. That didn't work because there wasn't enough sun there during the day. So this is a perfect place where my homestead is. And this sweet variety called the Annalib pomegranate is staying in the ground. It's a really, really nice variety. And you can see that it is battling because of the hailstorm. You can see that it has been targeted as well. So these are all the soft spots where the hailstorm hit. And now we've got things like this trying to burrow through. So I'm going to quickly go get a cloth and cover that. And I'm absolutely devastated because they've gone and done that with all my pomegranates. It's really not a good year for the pomegranates this season, or any of the fruit trees. They're just getting attacked by every single thing, from snails to that insect. Don't even know what that was, but wasps love to do things like this, and the birds absolutely attacking all my crops. But I just wanted to show you that we've got 2 pomegranates in the ground, and I'm going to move on because that has just really upset me right now. It's just another disadvantage on my list this season. If you'd like to support the channel and help keep this content growing, you can head to the link in the description and buy me a cup of coffee. It's always appreciated, but never expected. And then over here, we've got the famous cherry. I think out of all the fruit trees, the cherry did the best. It really showed off and really surprised me. And we've got them. So for people that are not in South Africa, these birds are called hardy-daws, and they're the most annoying birds. Back to the cherry. The cherry performed very well. We've got this in a pot, which is bigger than these normal random pots, but smaller than the pots where our clingstones are. And they do very, very, very well in pots. Every season, I actually do a soil swap. About so much soil, take out and I replace with some fertilizer, some mulch, and then a week or 2 after that, I basically do a liquid fertilizer, and it worked really well. So go take a look at that video because I show you how to look after your fruit trees. I think it's a 3 series where the fruit trees are actually all waking up, then they're flowering, then they're fruiting, and this is a follow-up to growing it in your container and in a back garden. So go take a look at that video. It really shows you how to take care of your fruit trees in pots. But as I said, the cherry really showed off and gave us quite a few cherries, and they tasted absolutely amazing. in this pot, very small pot, which I think I'm going to repot next season, but it's the liquid. And I've been dying to taste one of these. I've never tasted one. And you can see how it's battling. It has been damaged really badly by the hailstorm. But on the top here, we've got new growth, which means it's recovering and it hasn't been affected too badly. So we do have another branch growing here, which is a bonus. So I'll leave that to grow next to it. And then next season, I'll buy another pot like that and place it in there. And then I have to try and figure out how I'm going to restructure the garden with all these pots. And let's move on to the next one. We've got 2 tamarillos. Why? Because when I lost the first one in the ground, I was so saddened, and I looked for 2 years for tamarillos. And the supplier had a problem with tamarillos. They couldn't grow them and they weren't ready the year before. And this season, when I found they had a variety, they weren't sure, but I grabbed 2 and I got one in a pot and one in the raised bed at the end, and they are doing absolutely amazing. Besides the leaves like this, they've all been ripped. Didn't want to do that, but they've all been ripped like that, but they will survive. You can see I've got it in a pot, and when I bought it, I had this pot only, so it has some tamarillos on it, but you can see the old branch, and it started growing a new branch. So this is all new growth since I bought it. I bought it at the beginning of, I think it was it November? Maybe before November. And look how much it's grown. It's grown so much. So I'm super happy about that. And I don't know what variety it is. I think it's the orange. But look, it's starting to get its, I can't focus on there, but it's starting to get its stripes. And then eventually it will change color. And I think it's the orange one because we had one fall off and ripen. And I see it's orange with red stripes, which means it could be that variety. And I don't mind what variety we get, but each variety does taste different, the red and the orange. But whatever it is, I'll be super happy. So the one that I tried out, I think it was a red variety my mother-in-law had. And I was really saddened when it actually died in the ground. We had it in the ground right here. So got a raised bed here, and I put the second one in here. So you can see that from the hailstorm, another one fell off there and another one fell off there. You see it's going like an orange color. So that's why I think this variety is a orange variety. And it also got damaged by the hail. It's got little bruise marks, and I'm hoping that the insects don't go on there. So I'm going to get bags, and I'm going to also just prep them. Just rather be safe than sorry. Let's move on to the next one. And we are going to start with the custard apple tree. So I know there's some other names for the custard apple tree, and I'll put them on the screen here. And we were gifted this over a year ago. So this is the second summer we've got it. And I think next year we might have... Yo, dude, shush. The Indian manners, they're so noisy as well. But this is a custard apple tree, and we've not got anything from it. I think when we were gifted it was either over a year or 2 years old. So if this is maybe the 3rd, 4th, I expect something next year from it, and it's absolutely doing amazing. So you can just also see that it's been damaged a bit by the hailstorm. Hailstorm really went through the homestead and did a lot of damage, but it will recover as long as the root stock and the roots are all great and fine. The tree will be fine. It just means that obviously no bearing of fruits, and already the season's over with that. So this dude will come back even better next season. But you can see that we've put it in a grow bag, and next season I actually want to put it in a pot like that. So right now I put it in this because we ran out of pots and I wasn't purchasing any pots. They were not available, and so it had to be in a grow bag, and it actually survived in the grow bag over winter. I had this in the hothouse, so maybe it just obviously needs a deeper pot. I think this is just too shallow for it, and I think next season it will bounce back and be even better. We've got all these shoots, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm supposed to take these shoots off. Comment below and tell me, do I keep the shoots on or do I take them off? And I don't think this is a grafted variety. This, as I said, was gifted to me and given to me, so I think it could be just like a piece of their custard apple tree that they've just rooted and now given to me. And we've actually got two of them. So the other one I've got is in a small container like this, and I just called it custard apple number 2. Okay, this is one, the other one was 2. It's still very young, and so next season hopefully we get some custard apples. I've seen photos and I've seen people do taste tests. They look amazing. They sound like they could taste amazing. It's something I think I am definitely interested in. So the custard apple trees in pots, and then we swing around and show you the fig trees that we got in pots. Seeing that we've already spoken about fig trees, and this is actually a very nice container pot. It's really round and it's quite deep, and this is actually perfect for figs. So remember I was saying to you, if you don't have space in the ground, you can go and put them in a pot. And then we'll go to the apples. And yeah, it's also a sad story, but like if you get little apple stalks like this growing like this, just cut them off. This is a rootstock, and so this is grafted. The gala apple tree is grafted on this rootstock, making it more hardy. And you can just see that we've got gala apples that have been damaged by the hailstorm. I've taken them off and I put them here, hoping that the birds, which are making so much noise today, that the birds would actually just attack them instead of attacking all my fruits on the tree. But over here we've got a beautiful, or 2 beautiful gala apples, a few here, and all the other ones I've actually taken off the plant. They're in the fridge, only because just like what happened to the pomegranates, they got, you can still see I've still got some here, hit by the hailstones, they bruise and then bugs go into them. And so I had to take all the other ones. They were even worse than this. And then obviously all of these. So that is the gala apple tree, a rootstock variety, which is a grafted variety, and that's in a pot. And this is the first time the gala apple tree has given us so much apples, as well as the Granny Smith. So the same thing happened here. We had to take a few apples off here. They were starting to rot by the bruised areas. And this is also in a pot. Quite a nice big pot with a random tomato tree. And yeah, these varieties are more sour, but very nice to have. They're also rootstock and in a pot. So yeah, apples in a small backyard is possible, guys. So over the years, I have gone and created a beautiful oasis in my back garden in the middle of the suburbs. And all I can say is that I am thriving, and if I can thrive, you can thrive. I've made a video in the past where I've gone to my sister's balcony and I planted a lemon tree, so go take a look at that. And that is on a balcony. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me when you actually support this channel. It motivates me to make more videos like this. Comment below and tell me what trees you guys grow in containers, and take a look at this video. You definitely will enjoy it. I'll meet you there.